You know, I'm just going to keep repeating what I've been saying for a while. This team has incredible resolve, incredible fight. They're fun to be around. You know, so what if I've aged 27 years in the last 6 days? It's all that's it's all worth it when you're around quality people, and that's what these kids are. You know, it all came down to one stop defensively, and we take a lot of pride in defending. I thought our defense was really good today. I thought defensive rebounding wasn't good, but that's part of defense. So, but our ability to neutralize what they were trying to do, I thought was really good. I thought we started the game. They're difficult to play against offensively because they play unorthodox defensively. They're so similar. They're long. They're athletic. They're in that press, and you know, and then they switch everything. So you can't run traditional offense against them. You have to play a certain way against them, and it's not easy to do on 2 days of prep. But our guys were great. I thought early in the game we committed too many bad turnovers, and you're going to turn it over when you play them. It's either that or don't score. It's one or the other. And what you can't do is you can't have 3-4 turnovers in a 5-possession segment. You know, you're going to have one here, one there. It's going to happen. And I thought we were good at that in the second half, and that's what gave us a chance.
Frank, obviously, Kuz had the big game with 33 points. When did he find out that his mom and his sister were coming to the game, and do you think that gave him a little extra boost?
Yeah, I don't know. Was he in here already? Yeah, I don't know when he found out. I didn't find out that his family was going to be here till right before the game. So I don't know if they were trying to surprise him. I doubt it because him and his mom speak daily. But I don't want to speak for him on that. But he's a great dude, man. He's tough as nails. He's loyal as the day is long, and that's why I've been in his corner, and I'm not getting out of his corner. And that's why I didn't play him as much earlier in the year because it's not fair to people his age to throw them out there for the world to see when they're not in a good place to compete and be comfortable with their mind and their body. And he is that now. He's in a really good place right now with his body. And what you saw today is the way he was practicing in October before his body started betraying him. And really proud of him, really, really proud.
Colin, in front.
I think you mentioned defense, and I don't think James was really good, really impactful offensively as much as he was defensively. What did you see from him in terms of guarding Pinson and the job he did there?
You know, I was mad. The play before the last, the defensive possession before the last one for us, the scouting report on Pinson is do not let him go to his right hand. And Devin kind of allowed him to go right, but he didn't get quite downhill, but he kind of got downhill. And A.J. Wilson went for a block that he had no chance to get, which opened up a backside rebound. Reed, is that his name? I've had 13 and 15 confused all week. 13 is, yeah, Eason. You see, I get him confused. Eason is a load as a player. Strong, good hands, great feel. And so when A.J. went for that block, it gave Eason an easy offensive rebound against a guard on the backside. So I was mad about Devin getting beat to letting him get to his right hand. And James Reese in the timeout said, I got it, he won't go right. And give James credit, man. You know, he went out there, he didn't reach, he didn't gamble. When he stopped the drive, he hesitated, and he tried again to go into his right, and James sat right there and said no. Then he tried to spin, and James walled up. And you know, once you get a player spinning, 9 times out of 10, the defense is going to win. And as soon as I saw him spin, I was like, unless it's a Hail Mary or a tip-in, we got this. And Keyshawn makes a great play on that defensive rebound.
Michael and Anna?
Looked like Devin Carter was wearing some kind of a back brace or something on the sideline. Is there anything going on with him, I guess, physically? And then just, yeah, if you could shed any light on that.
He took a nasty fall in practice leading into the Ole Miss game. And so, you know, and you watch him play, you watch games, you don't get to watch practice. That's how he practices. He just always attacking. He took a bad fall. And so he banged up his back. It's nothing serious. It's just a bruise. But, you know, I don't – anyone that's ever battled any kind of back discomfort, it's not the greatest feeling in the world. And And he wasn't very good in the first half. You know, this is a high-level game today. This game, they're really good. And he went out there kind of tight and jogging around. And I told him at halftime, I said, dude, you got to help us, man. You can't play that way. And played his tail off in the second half.
Hey, Frank, back to Jermaine. You've mentioned a couple of times how important it is for you to see him finish things the right way. I was wondering if you could just kind of elaborate what that means, and do you think he's on kind of the path to finish things the right way based on what you saw today?
There's no doubt in my mind that he's in the best space he's been at as a player since he's been here. And I've said this from the word go. James Reese, Eric Stevenson, they've regrouped Jermaine and Keyshawn's spirits. You know, it's like Keyshawn didn't have a very good offensive game today. I thought he was really good defensively. Again, leads us in rebounding. You know, and that's those two guys are big part of the program that we were continuing to build post Final Four, and you know, they're still here. But James and Eric, I told you guys I don't say stuff to say, you know, to just make stuff up so somebody's got something to talk about. There's stuff I don't make public because it's nobody's business when it's certain things, but there's stuff that needs to be told. James Reese and Eric Stevenson uplifted me, Jermaine, Keyshawn. They've been unbelievable with their desire to wear that uniform, their desire to compete, and their belief in us. And it's gotten all three of us, Jermaine, Keyshawn, and me, to uplift ourselves again and have the resolve to go out there and play the way those kids are playing right now.
Frank, these Gamecock fans have a lot going on this weekend, from baseball starting up to the women's game tomorrow. How valuable was that atmosphere out there for you guys down the stretch?
Yeah, I get the fact you play Tennessee and you lose. I get the fact you play Florida and you lose. You play Auburn and you lose, and fans get frustrated. I understand that, man. I'm not into telling. I said this the day I got hired. You ask fans for the three most precious things that we have as people: their money, their time, their energy. If you don't give them the wins, it's hard for them. If they already bought tickets, it's hard to give them, for people to give you their time and their energy. This team's, I said it from the beginning, this team's fun. This team has a lot of fight. They're fun to watch. These aren't new words. I used these words in October, and I've used them throughout the season. I'm glad our fans came out and supported our guys, because if you sit there and you watch them fight, man, how can you not respect that? How can you not be excited about that? And then what happens is our fans get engaged in the game, and now they're into the game, and our guys, not only do our guys then take another step up, but it impacts the other team. The game flipped in a run where the fans were just incredible. And our guys made defensive stop, steal, basket, and the game flipped. And then we figured out a way to hold on for dear life coming down the stretch. But the fans were great. It's hard to be consistently good if your fan base is not out there for you every game. And we got to do our part. So let's move. I'm not into yesterday. I'm not into last month. I'm not into let's blame. We got Mississippi State on Wednesday. We got a chance to win 4 in a row. Let's get our fans in here and help us out. Our guys are fighting. Let's get our fans in here and give us a little help as we come down the stretch, just the way they did today.
Mike, you go in the front.
Frank, I know you alluded to it. I asked Eric right when he came in here beforehand about those turnovers. You know, what does it say about just the way this team continues the battle, even in a game where they do have 20 turnovers and they put themselves in a situation towards the end and they're able to find a way to get it done? Yeah,
Eric had a really bad turnover late in the game, and he's too old a player to make that mistake. But that's LSU, man. Eric ended up on the sideline with the ball, and if you play with the ball on the sideline against LSU, you're in deep, you know what, and that's what happens. And they're so long, and and then Devin made a freshman cut, and Eric assumed that, but give the. I'm getting old and dumb. The young man that played at Missouri, give him credit. He made a great play, great steal, great hands. But we fixed our turnovers issues that we had. I don't think we had turnover issues today. You play LSU, I'm just telling you, you got two choices. You can either be really passive and shoot it at the end of the clock, or you can be aggressive and try and beat their press. We chose to take the path of being aggressive. So when you play that way, they're good. They're not a Mickey Mouse team. They're not a team that, no, they're number one defensive team in the country until Pinson got hurt. And they make it really hard on you. And I didn't want to play against all that switching. I wanted to get behind the press and attack it. And I thought we were pretty good there. But we made some mistakes. Compared today's moment to the Tennessee game, to the Auburn game. We had some turnovers in crucial parts of the second half of those games too. In those games, we did this. Those teams are too good. As soon as we did this, it was layup 3, layup, basket 3, game. Today, we turned it over. We never dropped our head. We never dropped our shoulders. We were, let's fight back, fight back, fight back, and it's what we've been talking about. So it was fun to see, because I think LSU is really good. I know. Let me not say what I was going to say about people's opinions about basketball teams in the SEC. Let me not say that. LSU is really good. They went through a tough stretch when their point guard got hurt. With him playing, I think they've got 1 or 2 losses. They're really good, and so that's a heck of a win for our guys.
John, what over here on the right?
Yeah, you've called this a high-level game, and not to take anything away from the last two, but this was a bigger name opponent, home crowd. Does the momentum feel a little bit more tangible for your team right now after this victory?
Yeah, John, I'm just happy for our guys. I don't know if momentum. We were playing pretty good when we went to play Mississippi State. We're in a 3-game winning streak, and we're playing good ball, and they got us. And then we came home and played 2 of the teams that are, I think, going to be competing to be in the Final Four. And one of them we went nose to nose with. The other one got away from us in the second half. And our preparation for those 2 games was tremendous. I couldn't ask a team to practice and prepare any better than we did against Tennessee. So it feels good to win. It feels good to win 3 in a row. They're human beings. I can't speak about social media on negativity and not speak about the other part of it. They're going to go on social media, and everyone's going to tell them, man, you guys are awesome. And they're going to look at records, and they're going to look at the fact that we've won 3 in a row, that we're 500, that we're tied with 4 other teams. Somebody just told me, I got no idea, Derek Scott, we're tied with 4 other teams at 7-7, that we got 4 to go. That hey, wait a second, now they might be getting themselves back into the we can't get wrapped up in all that, man. We got to worry. We need momentum to get our fans to come help us. I think we got 2 home games left. Is that correct? Yeah, we need our fans to enjoy that momentum to help us. We need to stay grounded with what we've been doing for the last 3-4 weeks and just continue to press and push forward and continue to build trust and belief in each other.
Corey Diaz, middle left.
Frank, I wonder with Jermaine, was there maybe a team huddle or something during a timeout where you just kind of noticed that they were just kind of struggling a little bit guarding him and him being able to take his defender off the ball? And was there any encouragement to say, look, they can't guard you, just try to continue to slash to the rim, and whether you go up and finish or can kick out, you can help us in that way? Was there a conversation during the first half when that sort of transpired?
Not really. We spoke a lot leading into the game. When you play a team that switches a lot, if you can get them in the open court, they have indecision. How do you switch in the open court? Like, who stops the ball? I don't know if that makes sense what I'm saying or not. So we spoke a lot about the open court, go, get aggressive, go attack it. But Jermaine, bottom line, jump shot went in today. He took some threes. Who was it? Kentucky. I think he was 6 for 17 or something from the 3. Not from the 3, from the field. Jermaine's a really good player, and he's getting, I guess, like the kids like to say, he's gotten his swag back recently, but in the open court, it was about go, and that's what he did. So he got all kinds of layups in the open court because he's a big, strong player. But in half court, I know we had some turnovers against the top of the press, but in half court we actually ran pretty good offense. We just missed threes. James Reese missed wide open threes, you know, but Jermaine made his. So what he shoot from the three, I don't even know. Yeah, made 5 of them. That's pretty darn good.
Colin, do you still have one?
I know you like focusing on your team after wins, but obviously a big recruiting weekend. You guys put out a big push. What, with that atmosphere and just the way that crowd was, how good can that be for recruiting both the short and long term?
You know, Colin, I'm going to kind of go back to something I spoke about a couple games ago when I was asked about local recruiting. You know, we worked real hard to get really good local players when I first got here. And we've continued to work hard to recruit local guys. We've got, look at our roster. There's a lot of SC next to kids' names on our roster. But, you know, people spend a lot of time speaking about ones that did not come. When we had PJ and Sindarius and Mackey, not only were we winning, but they were homegrown kids that had a frontline responsibility as a player. So people wanted to see them play. And we created an unbelievable home court environment. And, you know, it's we got an opportunity to have the players that we got in the program right now to play with the resolve and the fight that they have. We got some really good young players. Excuse me. We've already signed some really good players. And you should have seen the guys we signed. They were in the locker room after the game. They were dumping water on the present players. That's how much they enjoy looking forward to being a part of what we do. And you know, I get the fact I'm the coach here right now, and I'm going to get credit when things go good, and I'm going to get blamed when things don't. I signed up for the job. I don't need anyone to tell me that. I understand that. I know that there's a couple really good high-profile players that chose not to come to school here. I did my job in recruiting them. I can't force them to come here. You go back in the history, and there was a time period where the local guys stayed here. They won the SEC. I got the local guys to stay. We made a run to the Final Four. We got a chance to do that again with this next batch that's coming. We got to worry about the ones that we've gotten and the ones that we're trying to get. We can't keep speaking about the ones we didn't get. Why don't we celebrate the fact that P.J. Dozier, local kid, chose to take this weekend to be here with the legends. He wasn't here just because he's a South Carolina kid. You know, he was here because it was Legends Weekend. He wanted to be a part of this. Why don't we celebrate the fact that PJ, when we were no good, we weren't winning, and he was a McDonald All-American. He wasn't like just a guy. He chose to play here. You know, and I'm hoping that happens again. We can do that again, and there's some really, really good local players right now. We got a chance to create that energy in this building again that we created, 3, 4, 5 years ago. You guys got a lot of questions, man. I'm sick.
You got a hot date?
Huh?
You got a hot date?
I'm sick. And
you're sick.
I do have a date, and you know with who. And it's not my wife. It's called job. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how miserable I would have been in about 20 minutes if we had not figured out a way to win that game? What a great human being I'd be at this dinner I got here in a little while.
I'll make it quick, Frank. Wearing that 2017 jacket. Noticed that in pregame. I don't know if that was done on purpose with Legends Weekend, or if it was just a coincidence. You know, you have guys like Thornwell, you have guys like PJ, as you alluded to, being able to come back. Did any of those guys have an opportunity to speak to the team this, whether last night or earlier today? Any of the
they were
legends?
Practice.
And what vibe does that create in practice? Because you've talked about in the past, sometimes when shooting wasn't going well, or maybe guys weren't staying after practices, and like last season. And you mentioned how Thornwell came back, and he mentioned doing those extra drills, staying after. How much can that spark a team, and how much did you notice just yesterday their presence being able to make an impact on this team?
When you say the jacket, you talking about this, what I got on? Yep. I didn't wear that by mistake today. I'm glad you put your eyes on it. And I didn't wear it for an individual. I wore it to remind, because I knew we were going to have a good crowd here. I knew we had a lot of former players here. Wore it on purpose. A lot of people want to talk about last year. So I wore it on purpose to remind everybody we've been pretty good. We've been pretty good. I didn't wear this to impress an individual. I wore this to remind a lot of people that were here today that, you know, if we're going to keep talking about last year, I can't help people. But we've been pretty good. And so I'm glad your eyes picked up on it, because I've never worn this for a game. I keep this one in my closet as a personal thing for me. I rarely wear this one out. I definitely don't wear it to practice. So it wasn't a mistake I put this one on. And but PJ, Chris, you know, like Chris Silva, PJ's hurt, so he can't practice right now. But Chris Silva, I mean, he's just spent 6 weeks with the Heat, just got sent back to the G League. So it's his journey right now. He's trying to get called back up to the big show. He's got 4 days off. That dude showed up here and practiced with us. Like, he couldn't wait to get in there and help Wildens and all our guys. When you have a program, that's what you have, man. The former guys come back. I told you guys a couple years ago, we had PJ, Sindarius, Chris, they were all here. Same thing during All-Star Weekend. I walk out to practice, and all three of them are in gear. Like, yo, Mackey, all of them. Yo, we're practicing. That's what happens when people that play in your program that are good players actually enjoy the experience and are thankful for the university and thankful for the program. And that's what we've had here. And then the extra time. Will Bailey comes in here. I don't use the 20 hours a week on the court with the team. So I save about 30 to 40 minutes a week, and Will Bailey comes in the gym every day, 7 o'clock in the morning. And those kids come in and spend 20 minutes 2 times a week to shoot balls for 20 minutes with him one-on-one, and it's one after the other. And you know, those are the things that no one sees. You know, when I'm running around talking to you guys and trying to tell the world about our team, the program, whatever, the Will Baileys of the world, him, Chuck, Brian, they're in that gym with those kids, man. They're in the office watching film with those guys. These guys put in, I can't ask these players to put in more time and be more committed to doing all the little things to give us a chance to be good. That's why they fight and they enjoy being around each other, because they respect the commitment that they're all making.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thanks, guys.
All right, boys.